One of the things that you will be asked to do inside of Photoshop is to replace a background or swap a background with a foreground. And here I have open two photographs. One with a family on it here with a background. And one of the things that I don't like about this background is I have this satellite dish kind of shown in the background. Now I could go in there and take out that satellite dish by using different tools. But really what I'd like to do is I'd like to get this family into this background. Now this background has some problems too. First of all, it has this little tarp on the ground that I use so that my families don't get their butts wet whenever I take pictures of them. So first thing I'm going to have to do is go in here on this photograph and take out this little blanket. Now I'm not going to be crazy about getting this perfect because a lot of this area here will be taken up by the foreground, the family that I'm going to put inside here. I'm going to start this project by going Control J on my keyboard so I can duplicate my background. So I'm just going to be working on my background or the top layer, and I'll preserve my background. I'm going to use my quick selection tool here to just roughly go in and select this little tarp that's on the ground here. Alright, looks like I got just about all of that. And again, I'm not going to worry too much about getting every little pixel of that tarp taken care of. Alright. And then I want to go and fill this with Photoshop's Content Aware Fill. Now I can go to Edit and Fill ... and I have this set to Content Aware. Here's all the other things that you could set it to, but in this case we're going to go to Content Aware and we say OK. Photoshop goes ahead and calculates that and takes out the blanket. Now you can see some areas like this where Photoshop was actually trying to fill it with one of these little flowers over here, and that's okay. Like I said, we're probably not going to have most of this area right here visible anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect that area by Control D on the keyboard, and I'm going to use my clone stamp tool to try to clean it up. So I'm going to press S on my keyboard for the clone stamp tool. Make my tool a little bit smaller there by using my bracket key. My left bracket key will make it smaller, my right bracket key will make it larger. So I'm going to sample inside here using my Alt key and just kind of clean up some of that area here. Keep sampling until I get the area that I'm looking for. The shadow that's along here, I'm going to try to get rid of it. So I'm just going to grab some of that down here and just kind of fill in some of that area. Okay, I'm going to sample again. Just have to ignore my phone calls. I'm actually doing this in the middle of the day, so I will be getting phone calls. That means I'm busy, right? Okay, so I'm going to go here and fill all this in. Actually, I know from using this photograph that the family is really going to be over in this area and not so much in this area, or actually the family will be in this area and not so much in this area. So I'm not going to worry about these little edges over here. I'll just go ahead and let those go, and if I need to modify those later, I will. So I want to go ahead and get my family. So I'm going to go up here, find my family, and I have to Control J. That way I can bring the family into the other composition. I'm gonna, with my zoom tool or V on my keyboard, I'm gonna click and drag. My family into this area. Now before I let go, I'm gonna hold Shift because these photographs are both the same resolution, and if I just hold Shift and let go, then it should, I think I went too long. Let me go back to my family again here. I'm gonna click and drag, bring it in, hold shift. When I let go, it's gonna give me my my family. I got it twice. See what I did? I went over here and I had that top layer in there. So it was giving me what I wanted. I just didn't see it do that. That's why you're doing it live, folks, so that way you can see all the mistakes that you can possibly make when you do this. I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer, and I'm going to go ahead and delete one of these layers. Actually, no, I'm going to go back. I'm going to keep this layer because that's the one I did the edit on, and I'm going to move that layer down to there. There we go. And then I'll get rid of this top layer. Got it. Now I've got all my house cleaning taken care of. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'll just show you the anatomy of what I have here. On the top layer, I've got the family. You turn that off and on. I'll turn that off. And on the middle layer here, I have the edited version of the background layer, the one without the tarp. On the bottom layer here, I just have the one with the tarp. Okay, I'm not going to be using the bottom layer, the background layer, just these two top layers. Alright, I am going to move to this top layer, and I'm going to roughly start to mask in or mask out, however you want to say it, just roughly, just like we did with the tarp. Just going to mask in the rough areas of this family. I'm not going to worry too much about what I'm getting and what I'm not getting at this point. I do want to go in here and fill in some things. If I hold Alt on my keyboard while I use the tool here, then I can exclude some of this area. I don't need any of this down here. I do need his hand. I don't need this little area there. And I do need to get a little more of that. A little less of that. I'm going to make my tool a little bit smaller so I can get down in here. Again, holding Alt to kind of get rid of some of that area. Alright, finally got it to work there. Okay, see how it went into her hair a little bit? I can just go right back over that without holding the Alt button. And that'll fill that back in. Alright. Alright, all these little hairs right here, I'm going to zoom in. I'm not going to worry too much about those because this is what I'm going to let the content aware selection take care of for me. So I'm not going to care about that too much. Alright, I got a pretty rough mask here. So in the next movie, we will cover how to go in and extract this family from this background and put it on our middle background.